Attention, Madridistas across the planet. Pause whatever you are doing. Take a breath. Because what is about to unfold may alter not only the immediate future of Real Madrid, but also the direction of its destiny, perhaps for a generation. Something is stirring beneath the spotless marble of the Santiago Bernabéu. From the president's office to the cafés of Turin, from the agent's whispers to the restless roar of the fans, a single name is beginning to echo with growing intensity. Kylian Mbappe, the Turkish diamond currently dazzling Serie A in the black and white stripes of Juventus. But make no mistake, this is not another fleeting rumor or idle market speculation. This is strategy. This is vision. This is Xabi Alonso's personal bet, a demand whispered with the calm authority of a man who knows exactly what he wants. The plan. Since the moment he accepted the call of destiny and stepped into the dugout of the Santiago Bernabéu, Xabi Alonso has carried an idea in his mind, not merely to continue Real Madrid's legacy, but to reshape it. He arrived not as a caretaker of the past, but as an architect of the future. And for that, he needs his cornerstone. A name. A soul. A symbol. In private conversations with the club's hierarchy, Alonso has been direct, almost poetic in his insistence. To build a dynasty, you must first choose the player who defines your football. For him, that player is Kylian Mbappe, a 20-year-old prodigy whose football IQ seems to belong to another era, one in which the game was both art and science. Xabi has gone as far as to request an investment that both thrills and terrifies, €100 million. A staggering amount for someone so young, but Alonso does not measure value in years, he measures it in impact. He sees Mbappe as a decade-long project, the first spark in what could become a new golden age of Madridismo. The Turkish prodigy. Who is Kylian Mbappe? Born on the banks of the Bosphorus, raised in a neighborhood where football isn't a pastime but a language, Mbappe learned the game not in academies, but on the streets, where space is scarce, time is shorter, and decisions must be made in an instant. There, amidst the chaos, his calm was born. By 17, he had already caught the eye of Juventus scouts. Within 2 seasons, he had become the heart of their midfield, the player who sets the rhythm, who pauses when everyone else rushes, who sees the pass before the camera can even capture it. Italian journalists describe him as a ghost with the ball, always there, but never where you expect. Xabi Alonso, ever the student of the game, noticed him early. Long before his name appeared in the headlines, Alonso's scouting team was compiling reports, heat maps, video breakdowns. He personally watched dozens of hours of Mbappe's matches, not just the highlights, but the quiet moments between plays, where a player's intelligence reveals itself. And what he saw, he loved. He saw a young man who didn't just play football, he interpreted it. He reads the game, Alonso told his staff one evening after reviewing footage from a Juventus-Napoli match. He reads it like a veteran, and reacts like someone who doesn't know fear. The Xabi era. When Alonso accepted the job at Real Madrid, he knew expectations would crush most men. But Xabi is not most men. A philosopher in boots, a strategist by instinct, he walked into Valdebebas not to protect a legacy, but to elevate it. He envisions a team that embodies identity, hunger, youth, and intelligence. Not a Madrid that depends on star names, but one that creates them. Under him, the club's philosophy is shifting. Age means little, mindset means everything. In his eyes, Kylian Mbappe represents the perfect embodiment of that philosophy, a player with the calm of Cruz, the fire of Valverde, and the tactical mind reminiscent of Modric. But with something more, an unteachable instinct, an aura of inevitability. He's different, Alonso reportedly said during a board meeting. He makes decisions before others even recognize the problem. That's what separates talent from destiny. The internal debate. Inside the walls of the Bernabéu, the debate has begun. Florentino Perez, the president who has seen more footballing revolutions than most men have seen seasons, listens carefully. The proposal on his desk is bold, risky, romantic. Exactly the kind of move that defines Real Madrid's mythology. €100 million for a 20-year-old midfielder. For some, it's madness. For others, it's prophecy. In meetings that stretch late into the night, the club's directors weigh the pros and cons. Financial advisors bring spreadsheets. Scouts bring clips. Analysts bring statistics. But Alonso brings conviction. This is not about numbers, he tells them. It's about vision. I'm not asking for a player. I'm asking for a cornerstone. The Juventus wall. Meanwhile, in Turin, the mood is tense. Juventus knows what they have. The Bianconeri hierarchy sees Jules not just as their present, but their captain of the future. Their general director has already warned, "We are not a selling club." But history whispers differently. Because when Real Madrid calls, football listens. Jules himself remains silent publicly. But behind closed doors, those close to him say the idea of Madrid ignites something deep inside him. He grew up watching the white shirts of Zidane, Modric, and Alphonso. To him, Real Madrid isn't just another destination, it's the dream. The player's mindset. Those who train with Jules describe him as quiet, almost monk-like in his focus. He doesn't shout, doesn't show off. He studies. He observes. He learns. When others leave the pitch, he stays behind to practice half-volleys, long diagonals, and defensive positioning. His understanding of tempo is uncanny, a trait Xabi values above all. He doesn't run to find space, said one Juventus assistant. He runs to create it. He's the kind of player who thrives under pressure, the kind who sees chaos and finds poetry inside it. And that, more than anything, is what Alphonso wants. A player who reflects his own soul, cold mind, burning heart. The strategic move. Behind the scenes, intermediaries are working discreetly. There are calls, encrypted messages, informal meetings in Milan and Madrid. The plan is not to force the transfer, but to prepare the ground, to plant the seed. The kind of long game that Florentino Perez has mastered over decades. Phase 1. Show interest. Phase 2. Let the world talk. Phase 3. When the moment comes, strike. If everything proceeds as Alphonso hopes, the summer of 2026 could mark the beginning of a new chapter, the Jules era. The legacy question. For Real Madrid, this move is about more than football. It's about continuity, the eternal pursuit of greatness that defines the club's DNA. Each generation has its architect, Di Stefano in the 50s, Zidane in the 2000s, Cristiano in the 2010s. Now, Alphonso wants to sculpt the 2030s in his own image. His Madrid will be younger, hungrier, and bolder. A team built on principles, not personalities. A team where Jules is not just a player, but a philosophy, a symbol of balance between instinct and intellect. The whisper that became a roar. And so, the name spreads. First through journalists in Turin, then agents in London, then fan forums across continents. Kylian Jules. 14 letters that could define a decade. Madridistas begin to dream. The idea catches fire. Graphic designers start mocking up jerseys. Commentators debate his fit in Xabi's 4-3-3. Young fans flood social media with highlight reels. Something is happening, something bigger than a rumor. Because when a name resonates in Madrid, it doesn't fade. It multiplies. It becomes prophecy. A club that creates legends. Real Madrid has never been a club that chases fashion. It creates it. From Di Stefano to Puskas, from Zidane to Modric, every generation has been defined by visionaries who saw beyond the horizon. The club does not sign stars, it builds them. And now, Xabi Alonso is ready to build his own constellation. In his blueprint, Jules stands at the center, the conductor, the silent general, the man who dictates the tempo of destiny itself. The final word. So, Madridista, listen carefully. The winds of change are gathering over Chamartin. The lights of the Bernabeu will soon illuminate a new face, a new promise, a new heartbeat. If fate allows, Kylian Jules will walk through those legendary tunnels not as a boy, but as the beginning of something greater, the dawn of a new white dynasty. And when that happens, when the crowd rises and the anthem swells beneath the Madrid night, we will all remember this moment, the day a whisper became a revolution. Kylian Jules. Xabi Alonso. Real Madrid. The future has already begun. His impact in Italy has been nothing short of seismic. In a league where newcomers often need months, even years, to adapt to its rhythm, its defensive rigidity, and its tactical obsession, Jules needed only minutes. 2 goals, 4 assists, and countless moments that escape the confines of the stat sheet. His football cannot be summarized by numbers alone, because what he truly alters is the emotional temperature of a match. The instant he touches the ball, the geometry of the pitch changes. Opponents pause, teammates move differently, and coaches, from the sideline, instinctively lean forward. He does not simply play football, he conducts it. Jules offers solutions where others see problems. He finds angles where there appear to be only walls. His fluency between the lines, his precision in short spaces, and his ability to press with the desperation of a man chasing destiny, these are the qualities that have made managers fall in love with him. But above all, what makes him unique is something no coach can teach: instinct. That rare, unquantifiable sense possessed only by those who shift the course of a game without needing to dominate it. A glance, a feint, a touch, and everything changes. When he moves, it feels choreographed, yet spontaneous. When he accelerates, he does so not to escape but to lure. He plays like someone who sees 2 seconds into the future. That anticipation, that serenity under pressure, that almost supernatural awareness of where everyone will be, it's what separates him from the rest. Xabi Alonso recognizes that. He knows it intimately, because once, he was that kind of player. A conductor of space, a thinker in boots. During his prime years at Liverpool, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich, Alonso embodied equilibrium and intelligence, the art of slowing the game down in a world addicted to speed. Now, as a manager, he sees in Jules something profoundly familiar, a modern reflection of his own footballing philosophy. A player who doesn't just follow instructions but interprets them, reshapes them, elevates them. A player who doesn't only execute with his feet but thinks with them. He understands tempo, Alonso reportedly told a confidant after watching Jules live in Turin. He plays like he's already lived the game once before. In a Real Madrid that is searching to reinvent itself after years of fluctuating dominance, that kind of mind, that kind of footballing intelligence, is worth its weight in gold. The figure being discussed, €100 million, is staggering, yes. But inside the offices of the Bernabeu, there is a phrase that circulates like a quiet mantra. Young talent is not an expense, it's an investment. It's an idea that has shaped the club's greatest eras. From Di Stefano to Cristiano, from Zidane to Bellingham, Real Madrid has always been at its best when it trusted instinct over comfort, vision over caution. Each golden generation began with a risk, a signing that seemed excessive, even reckless, and ended as legend. The white shirt, as history has proven, has a way of transforming the merely talented into the eternal. Xabi Alonso understands this tradition better than anyone. He is a man who builds projects with patience and purpose, not ego. Those who know him describe a coach with a chess player's calm, capable of sacrificing even beloved pieces to win the long game. He's ready to do the same now. Move players, reshape the midfield, allow departures that would once have been unthinkable, all to make space for Jules. In Alonso's master plan, there is only one untouchable: Kylian Mbappe. Everyone else, sources whisper, is potentially negotiable if it means bringing Jules to Madrid. This is not about vanity. It's about vision. About conviction. Meanwhile, in Turin, anxiety is growing. Juventus, proud, disciplined, rooted in tradition, senses the tremor. They know Madrid's interest is never casual. When the Spanish giant sets its gaze on a player, the entire European chessboard tilts. The Juventus board has already begun working on an urgent renewal, a contract until 2030, a massive salary increase, and promises of absolute protagonism. They are prepared to build the team around him, to make him not just a player, but a symbol of their revival. And yet, behind the closed doors of the Vecchia Signora, a quiet fear lingers. It's a familiar feeling, one that Italian clubs have known for decades. You can fight off English money, resist Parisian glamour, even ignore the calls from Munich or Manchester. But Real Madrid? That's different. The Bernabeu doesn't negotiate with logic, it negotiates with destiny. There's pride in knowing one of their own has drawn Madrid's gaze. But there's also resignation, because everyone knows how these stories tend to end. From Zidane to Cristiano, from Pogba to countless others, the gravitational pull of Madrid is stronger than any contract. It's not just a club, it's a phenomenon. A promise of immortality. Jules himself feels the conflict. Those close to him describe a young man torn between loyalty and ambition. He owes everything to Juventus, the club that believed in him when others hesitated. The fans adore him, the city has embraced him. Yet deep down, he senses that irresistible whisper, the call of the Bernabeu, that glowing white stage where history is not played but written. He grew up watching Zidane glide through defenders, studying Modric's rhythm, dreaming of what it would feel like to hear the Champions League anthem under Madrid's lights. Now, that dream is close enough to touch. At 22, Jules stands at a crossroads that defines careers. Juventus can keep him for a season, maybe two. But keeping him forever, that's another matter. Because football has a way of aligning its stars, and right now, all constellations point toward Madrid. There's a quiet inevitability in the air. Back in Spain, Alonso's plan is taking shape. He envisions a Real Madrid built not just on power or pace, but on intelligence. A side that dominates not by running faster, but by thinking quicker. Jules would be the fulcrum of that idea, the metronome around which the chaos organizes itself. Modern football is about brains, Alonso has said publicly. Technique matters, but intelligence wins games. For Alonso, Jules is not merely another signing. He's the key to a new identity. A player capable of linking eras, of blending the tactical discipline of Alonso's generation with the fearless creativity of the next. Someone who can play as an interior, a false pivot, or even a secondary playmaker drifting between the lines. Someone who doesn't need constant instruction because he feels the game. In the press rooms of Turin, journalists whisper comparisons that once would have been heresy. He has the aura of Iniesta, one said. But the sharpness of De Bruyne, added another. Yet those who know Jules insist he is neither. He is something new, a synthesis of elegance and urgency, of calculation and chaos. And so, the story unfolds as football stories always do, with money, with pressure, with dreams. The stage is set for a summer saga that could reshape European football once again. Madrid waits with quiet confidence. Juventus braces with nervous pride. And Jules, somewhere in between, trains in silence, knowing that every touch, every pass, every heartbeat might bring him closer to the inevitable. Because in the end, for players like him, destiny isn't something you chase. It's something that eventually finds you. Because, let's be honest, Madridista, when the Bernabeu calls, Europe trembles. It's not a metaphor. It's not a romantic exaggeration whispered by fans who refuse to let go of the past. It's something far deeper, something that has been felt for nearly a century. There's a force that rises from those stands, from that sacred pitch, from the echoes of nights that changed the history of football. It's in the marble, the concrete, the white shirts and the golden letters. It's in the roar that begins softly, grows steadily, and finally explodes into a sound that no microphone can fully capture. There are stadiums that intimidate. There are clubs that impress. But there is only one that transcends. No institution matches that magnetism. No badge weighs the same. No jersey carries the history of that crest, stitched not with thread but with destiny itself. And Kylian Mbappe knows it. In interviews, he speaks with the composure of someone aware of what he wants. Ambition, growth, hunger for competition, the vocabulary of the chosen few. He's not searching for comfort, but for challenge. He doesn't dream of fame, but of meaning. And there is no greater stage in the world than the Santiago Bernabeu. Under those lights, in that cathedral of expectation, the ordinary disappear and the extraordinary are born. The weight of the crest. Playing for Real Madrid isn't simply a privilege. It's an inheritance, a sacred duty. To wear that badge is to carry not just the hope of millions, but the memory of giants. It's to understand that the story you're entering was written by Di Stefano, Gento, Puskas, Butragueño, Hierro, Raúl, Zidane, Cristiano Ronaldo, Modric, Benzema, and countless others who shape the identity of a club that does not live in the past. It recreates it, again and again, with every generation. Because Real Madrid doesn't offer you titles, it offers you immortality. You don't just win games here. You etch your name onto marble. You enter eternity. That's why when the biggest clubs in England, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, open their vaults and offer golden promises, something always remains missing. Because what the world's wealth cannot buy, Madrid already is soul. Real Madrid doesn't buy players. It forges symbols. Xabi Alonso knows. Few people understand that transformation better than Xabi Alonso. He has lived both the pressure and the privilege. He has stood on that pitch when everything was on the line and felt the gravity of those thousands of voices behind him, demanding, believing, never doubting. He knows what it means to carry that responsibility, to live under a standard where great is not enough, where excellence is the bare minimum. He knows the glory, yes, but also the price, the silence of exhaustion, the unseen effort, the calm discipline behind every victory. Now, as he steps into his new role, he's not just looking to build a team. He's trying to build an era. And when he looks at Kylian Mbappe, he doesn't just see a player. He sees a reflection, that rare combination of serenity and aggression, of tactical intelligence and fearless instinct. He sees a footballer who can command not just with skill, but with presence. That's why his interest isn't purely technical. It's emotional. It's about character, about essence, about finding someone who understands that at Real Madrid, you don't play for the shirt, you play as the shirt. A vision beyond the present. Davies' ambition isn't short-term. He doesn't dream of a quick cycle of success. He envisions a Real Madrid that transcends time, a side that doesn't depend on trends or faces, but on identity. A team that imposes itself not through fear, but through inevitability. When he sits with the board and mentions Kylian Mbappe's name, it isn't as part of a transfer list. It's part of a vision. He speaks of data, yes, of positioning, of metrics, of adaptability. But beneath all of that lies something unquantifiable, a belief in the idea that greatness can be reborn, that Madrid's future can be written again with the same ink that wrote its past. He doesn't seek just results. He seeks legacy, a statement to the world. This potential signing isn't merely a market operation. It's a statement of intent, a message to the world. Real Madrid does not react to the future, it creates it. Every great era in football begins with a quiet decision that changes everything. And maybe this is one of those moments. Maybe, in the offices of the Bernabeu, a conversation has already taken place that will echo across decades. Because what's at stake here isn't just a player. It's a declaration. The next chapter of football history will once again be written in white. And you, Madridista, whether you live in Madrid, Mexico, Colombia, Chile, Argentina, or anywhere else where the heart beats white, are witnessing the beginning of something enormous. Something that might redefine how football is played, how victory is understood, and how greatness is measured. The birth of a new era. If this move happens, it won't just be a headline. It will be a turning point. A move that shakes the foundations of European football, that forces others to rethink their ambitions, that reminds the entire world, from Munich to Manchester, from Paris to Barcelona, why Real Madrid remains, generation after generation, the greatest institution the sport has ever seen. Because the truth is simple: empires fall, dynasties fade, projects collapse. But Real Madrid doesn't. It adapts. It renews. It survives. And when people start doubting, when they whisper that maybe the cycle is over, Madrid responds the only way it knows how: by making history again. The immortal fire. When Real Madrid ignites, the world watches. Because what burns in that white fire is not arrogance, it's conviction. Conviction that no matter the era, the players, or the tactics, some things never change. The spirit. The pride. The belief that impossible is just another word for not yet. That's why the Bernabeu isn't just a stadium. It's a heartbeat. A temple. A mirror where football sees its purest reflection. So stay alert, Madridista. Because what's coming is not smoke, it's fire. And when that fire rises again from Chamartin, when that eternal light turns night into legend, the world will once more stop, watch, and remember. This is Real Madrid. This is where football meets eternity. And this is only the beginning.